sir. Tee him up.
Okay, and 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Joe Gatto, and this is
Two Cool Moms Pod.
No, I was just thought you were gonna say your name.
Oh, shoot.
Let's go. Let's try the other way. 1, 2, 3. Hey, my name's Joe Gatto.
I'm Steve Mom. Cool.
That's so close, and you're so cool. All right, you know what? I'll just take the whole thing. You just give a thumbs up at the end. A thumbs up at the end.
Okay.
Ready? Hey, everybody! I'm Joe Gatto, along with Steve Byrne, and you're listening to Two Cool Moms. Great. Because if they're listening, you didn't do anything.
Yeah, I just
if they're not watching the video feed, that's
insert thumbs up.
okay. You know what, Steve? This is what I love about you.
Yes.
Adding value. So much value.
Just setting the plate for you. Just setting the plate.
Adding value. I think that's very important. So, you know, a plate at the table is always nice to have when we're eating together. And
Yes.
here we are and feasting on the podcast world with our friends. Everyone who's joined us, all 6 people listening.
Yes.
You, me. Jiggy's barely listening, but he's got his own camera. So
Jiggy Cam. Jiggy Cam.
Whoop, whoop.
Good to see you, Jiggy. How are you?
Doing great. It's great
Yeah.
to be here.
Yeah, we love it.
I've never seen Jiggy in a bad mood. I'm sure you might. It's a rare occasion. How about that?
It's rare.
But
I mean,
I've
everybody
never
gets in
seen
bad
him.
moods. You know, he does a good job of hiding it. But I will say there are some triggers for our friend Jiggers.
Yeah.
One of the tricky trigs for Jiggy Jigs is incompetence by someone. It's his
yes.
biggest one.
Yeah,
If there's an
get
incompetent
me.
thing, yeah. I've been out to eat with him, and if he asked for the salt. and they'll come back. And somebody comes back and is like, "Is everything okay?" And he'll be like, "Just the salt." And they're like, "Oh yes, the salt." You know, that kind of thing. You know,
Right.
that kind of thing. You know, or I see him on phone calls where his whole demeanor will change. Like he'll be like, "Hey, what's up?" And then be like, "Oh, okay." Like, he just sinks into this. You know, he becomes Mark. He goes from Jiggy and he goes to Mark.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Hospitality situations do get me frustrated because I worked in hospitality for a while.
You worked at one of the premier
The premiere.
sites of hospitality.
So
Can
I
you say
feel
it
like
or no, or-
I take it personally.
Yeah.
Like when service isn't right, it does affect me.
There's a bar of excellence you have, but that is so true. Anywhere we've gone, hotels, restaurants, doesn't matter, store, you both are pretty keen on great service.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, him in hotels. When there's an incompetence at the front desk, he literally starts telling people how to do their job. He's like, you can just route the charges to both rooms through that. Like he says like that. He's like, it's one card. We don't have to scan it 3 times. You can just route the charges to the other 2 rooms into one. And the woman's like, oh, you're right. I could do that. He's like, I know you can do that. But he doesn't realize we're in a friggin' Marriott Courtyard in fucking Bedunkin, Wisconsin.
But he gets it. Like I can't imagine what it would be like for Joe to check into a hotel. And sometimes we've seen some crazy stuff. Like we were checking into a hotel in Illinois, and it's like, oh, we got the reservation right here, and then she pulls out her phone and is on a full blown FaceTime with her husband, like, look who's here.
Oh, like, no, are you serious?
We weren't even at the credit card transaction, and it's a full FaceTime with Joe.
Oh God,
So
that's
crazy.
Yeah.
especially for
that gets me going. I
that's
get
uncomfortable.
heated. I get heated at that.
I will say I'm normally in a good mood too. I do think when people say no when they could clearly say yes to help you as a
of
customer,
course, yeah.
those things are like what airlines and stuff like. There's just little things that you could do. That's for me. That's a choice someone's making. You're making a choice not to be helpful. You know, so that is where I get it. It's not really an incompetence. It's more like the choice. Because some people sometimes are doot-to-doots and they don't understand what's going on.
Doot-to-doots.
Doot-to-doots. So they don't understand what's going on. It's like, all right, this person just isn't, every light's not on in the attic.
I see it all the time with airlines.
Yeah.
We fly all the time. I'll never forget this one time. This one flight attendant, there was a guy who was a little shorter that was having trouble putting his thing up, and he put it down. He looked at the flight attendant. And the flight attendant goes, "It's not my job, sir." And you're just thinking, "Come on."
So did you help him and put him in the overhead? See you when we get there, Phil.
Don't worry, your Samsonite's safe down here.
He's clicking
You're okay.
in.
Just his feet are hanging out. You shut the damn thing.
Yeah.
Get these Skechers in there.
Oh man, I love when I used to do this bit all the time, and I still do it just for fun. Where it'll take me too long to put my bag in the overhead, you've seen it, and I just have I make sure my shirt's up just enough to be like, and it's a backpack this big, and it's no reason why, and I'll just bounce around and like this, and then sometimes when I used to travel with the boys, I would travel with Sal. I would always take Sal's bag down and put my bag in. I'd wait till because when he gets on, he clicks in, he puts his head on and whatever. And I remember one time we were flying, wherever the hell we were flying, he puts his suit on, like he looks like who's from South Park, Kenny, who always gets killed. He looks like that, like he's got his hood on, you can't even see anything. And one time I took down his bag and put my bag up because there's no more room, and I left it in the middle of the aisle. And then the flight attendant came by and goes, "Whose bag is this? Whose bag is this?" And it sounds like got his headphones on, listening to Biggie Smalls. He does not. He's listening to like Tony and the Tony Tones, like because he knows every band, right? And he's like sitting there listening to his music, whatever. He's got his thing on, his face is covered, and they're like, "Whose bag is this? Whose bag is this?" And it started getting more urgent. And then I was like, "I think it's that guy's." And she's like, "Sir, is this your bag?" He goes, "Yeah." He's like, "It's my." He's like, "It was in the overhead." I was like, "No, my bag's in the overhead." He's like, "You took my bag." So funny
because he's like he's the one person you shouldn't do that stuff to, right? Because that's why you do it, right?
It's great. Everyone's laughing. Yeah, except him. It's fun. But like getting onto a plane is always an opportunity for fun for me. I always enjoy getting like into my seat. I'll always like look like if I'm seat 16 like B and I'll start at 2, I'll be like 2, 3, 4, and be behind. Like, come on. My brother-in-law Vinny, he's a big dude.
Of course, yeah.
Right, so I always book him a middle seat.
No.
On purpose.
Big Vin?
Big Vin. I'll get him right in the middle on purpose. Like, I'm like,
dude.
He's like, why'd you book me 12E? And he's like, they try to put him in the bulkhead.
He's the guy, if you're like on a Southwest flight and he's walking down, you're like, do not.
Please don't stop here.
Please
don't
do
stop
not.
Here.
Keep going, yeah.
Yeah. But in the Caribbean, we all like, Bessie likes to book us. We've traveled with his family a lot. And she likes to book us sitting together. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, just put them in, grab Vinny a Comfort Plus seat. And she's like, no, because then we're not all sitting together. I'm like, do you think Vinny cares for the 3 hours that we're going to Barbados that he's going to be sitting with us, crammed in the middle? Like he wants that vacation to start in the extra legroom section.
Yeah, of course.
You can't do that. Sometimes people will look and be like, no. Like, no.
Not you.
What are you doing? Do you ever take the bus where it's open seating? And when I used to go for Staten Island, there was open seating, and you'd have to pay, it was the express bus from Staten Island to get into the city. You sit wherever, you just pay for your ticket to get on.
Right.
And you would hate if somebody was going to sit next to you, right? And you would just hope that it wouldn't. And when it came to the last stop, like if you had an empty seat, you'd be like, oh, please don't be a lot of people at least.
Right.
And then there'd always just be 4 empty seats, and the person would always just pick the one next to me all the time. Yeah.
I got sat at a restaurant in Vegas recently. And I love this restaurant. It's one of my favorites. But I'm by myself, so I'm like, I was with Wyatt, actually. I was with Wyatt, our good friend Wyatt.
Same thing as being by yourself.
I sit at the bar, right? Wyatt and I next to each other. The hostess brings a guy over and sits him next to me, literally next to me.
Oh, same table, 4 top?
At a bar.
Oh, at a bar.
At the whole bar, okay?
What?
And then she comes over 10 minutes later and sits a guy next to that guy. Now there's 4 of us sitting at an empty bar all next to each other, and nobody's talking to each other. And I just look at them and go, guys, are you a little uncomfortable that she sat us all next to each other? And the one guy goes, I can't stand it. And the guy goes, I don't understand what's happening. But nobody moved, and we all just ate our lunch together. So Wyatt and I talked. And then we talked about baseball for a second, all of us, and then everybody just ate their meals, and they could have moved down. By the way, this is a huge square bar. It's like Cheers, right? And we were all just 4 people in the corner and an empty bar around us. And I was like, why did this moron seat us like this?
Yeah.
This is so weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she thought we wanted to be together.
Maybe she was like, hey, maybe I'll make some friends here. Maybe we'll make some best friends. Because every best friend starts as a stranger.
Oh my God.
It's true.
I used to be, I used to be, so on the bus, there's like 2 people. You're either the waiter, the waiter of people walking down the aisle. I pray people doesn't sit with me. And I used to be a waiter, pray someone doesn't sit with me. And then I changed to be a picker. So now I went to the back of the line of the bus because you get to pick who you get to sit with.
I see what you're
Total
saying.
game changer.
So it's take your time to get on the bus. So you're picking your destiny.
I'm picking who I get to sit with.
Yeah.
But if you go early, you're a waiter. You don't have any choice who you sit with.
Smart.
Game changer.
Smart. See, I'm telling you, he's not
That's
dumb.
Shiggy.
He's not dumb. He's smart.
He gets the lay of the land.
I used to do the backpack on the seat, and then I would if I like who was coming, I would make sure I'd be like, oh, let me move that for you. And try to invite them to the seat. And then he'd be like, no, thank you. And they'd keep walking. I'd be like, son of a bitch. What am I, not good
Underrated?
enough?
A train. Train is, I have some dates coming up, and I was like, I could fly. I was like, wait, I could take the train. I'm just going to take the train. I'd rather 4 hours
Yeah.
4 hours max. 4 hours on a train. Read, write, watch a movie, bang it out. You get more space.
You take the airport out of it.
Ugh.
I will take a mule. I'll get on muleback and I'll be fucking hoofing it. I'll be hoofing it to Adelaide, Texas. I'll be hoofing it.
Detroit? Yeah. Detroit's airport, I'd rather walk.
Yeah.
I'd rather walk. That airport, it is 5 miles long. And if you get off at A whatever one, and then your connecting flight is A
64,
638, it's like you are screwed. They have that tram that's still, it's a garbage airport. I hate it.
I
Love
don't
the city, hate the airport.
I don't mind the airport. I don't like the tram. I like a tram that's integrated into it. You know who could use that tram? JFK. Mm-hmm. They got some balls putting you in. Your flight lands at gate fucking in Delta, lands in flight gate B62, and they're like, go to the exit, and the exit is by gate B18, and I'm hoofing it all the way. They got it has so many of those moving walkways, but there's so much there's as much equal ground that's not covered by the moving walkway. I timed it, and I'm a fast walker, and it took me 22 minutes to walk. Who's got 22 minutes? I'll give you the world. To walk all the way down there. That's insanity. That was a 10-10.
I'll give you the world.
That was 22 minutes. We'll give you the world.
Such a
that was 10-10. 10-10 wins, that was. But it's insane how far that, and every time, it angers me so much. And when we landed, it is 10-10 wins. Great. Get 22 minutes, I'll give you the world. When I'm walking, I'm not getting the world. I get infuriated when we're landing. I do this thing with him because me and Jiggy fly a lot, right? Yeah. And when we're landing, I'll open the shutter and I'll look and I'll see where we're pulling in. I'm like, we're going to B60. This is bullshit. We're gonna be. I'll be like hoping to go to a closer gate.
Yeah,
and it makes me instantly angry.
That's the worst if you miss a layover because you couldn't walk fast enough.
Yeah,
that is gutting.
That's the worst.
That is
you Macaulay Culkin it.
Dallas.
Oh, I thought you meant District Footwear.
But Dallas, Detroit, by the way, sneaky city.
Yeah.
I've always thought Detroit's kind of like, just the perception in the media, run down, why get a hotel, just buy a house? Yep. It's just like, it's so awful there. And then I got there and I spent a week there, blown away. Great restaurants.
Unbelievable.
Beautiful downtown.
Up and coming. I looked in real estate. No joke.
Really? In Detroit?
We went to Shinola to do they have their one of my favorite watch brands, one of my favorite brands. They have their factory there. So we went on a factory tour. I did their podcast there. And I
slept on the concrete floor, remember?
Yes. Oh, that's right. You were there.
Yeah.
I forgot because you didn't add any value. And I said, I was like, this is unbelievable to be like here. And I was like, this is like up and coming. Yeah. There's got to be, there was the university around there. There was like a lot of that money coming in. I agree with you totally. It's one of my favorite cities, Detroit.
Now it's definitely in my top 10. I had great meals. That stadium is awesome. Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
Comerica Park.
Home of my favorite theater one of my favorite theaters I've ever played. The Fox Theater.
Fox Theater.
Is completely up there. It was one of my favorite memorable spots that I ever played. Wow. I want to get back there. I love that. I'm just not big enough in Detroit.
What are you talking about? Well, we love you, Detroit. We'll be back soon. Should we?
Rocco's Italian Deli, by the way. That sandwich was incredible.
Which one?
Rocco's Italian Deli. I had to look it up because when we were in Detroit.
Oh, shut your mouth.
Remember
that?
It was the Italian Deli. We were 3 bites into Rocco's Italian Deli when you started looking up real estate.
That's right. That's right. I was fed well.
It was so good.
Yeah.
That
great spot.
Meal. The minute you said it, I go back in time in heaven. And the only thing I wish is that we got to sit down and eat in there, but we got the Sandy's to go, and all of us, every one of us, was like, holy
this is
cow,
the best.
what is happening here?
I want to go back. When are we going to Detroit? We got to go to Detroit. Look at my tour schedule. Am I going to Detroit?
I'll meet you guys there.
That's how we'll get Steve to come with us. It's like, where are you playing? Let me see. What can I eat there? That's how Steve picks the dates he comes to play with me.
Like, I'm not saying this because we're friends with him. Joe DeRosa, Joey Roses, I'm staying at his place. I was like, oh, where's Joey Rose's? It's like half a mile from his place. I walk over there. That sandwich could be one of the best sandwiches I've ever had because it's literally, and Jiggy and I have talked about this ad nauseum. Bread, a great roll makes
sandwich.
100%.
It's the first thing that's in your mouth.
The first thing that's in
It's always the first thing that's in your mouth. You always remember the first thing that's in your mouth.
But he has high quality meats. There's no dressing. There's no like cream. There's no secret sauce. There's no, Joey's cream. It just.
Did you pick out the term high quality meats on your own, or is that on the
I'm telling
billboard?
you, it is high quality meats, and they roll it up in a way.
Saying high quality
They
meats.
roll it up in a
Stop
way.
saying Joe DeRosa has high quality
I'm
meats.
telling you, they roll it up in a way where they roll the meat into the bun. Nothing's dripping. It's just the meat, a tinge of cheese, and this bread. And I'm like, this is one of the best sandwiches I've ever had. And there's nothing on it. There's nothing on it.
If you took what you just did and muted it, it would look like that you were explaining sex to someone because you were like, you take this, hey, that's it. You get excited. I get excited for a good sandwich show. Yeah.
That is
all right. I've never had it. I gotta go.
Joe?
No, I gotta go. I don't eat high quality
they do
meats.
have
They have a veggie one. I talked to them about it.
They have high quality vegetables. High quality.
They have medium quality vegetables, but high quality meats.
I'm telling you, if you make it out and you're downtown in New York City, you got to go.
I gotta.
We talk about food all the time. When you're in the back doing your duties, as you would say.
Yep.
We are literally just talking about food. And
yeah, the experience of a good sandwich. It's like an art, and it's an art.
yes,
I mean, when you go, that's a talk about picking somebody, right? When you go, that's the worst. That's worse than the bus. When you are online in a deli and there's the three people making the sandwiches and you see the guy back there who's doing his thing there. He's getting the nice cuts of everything. He's layering it well. He's looking to make sure that everything's evenly dispersed with your balsamic glazes. He's picking the right peppers. And then you got the one guy, what do you want? Next, like that. Right. I'm hoping that when they say my number, I've not raised my hand when they say a number.
Right.
And I'd be like, oh, you missed it. They're like, number 32. And if it's not the right guy calling it, I'll just sit there. And they'll be like, 33, they pick it. And then when my guy goes, 34, I go, oh, I missed, I'm 32.
Can I get a new one?
And they go, oh, yeah, what do you want? And I'll pick my guy. That is the worst person. If you get the wrong person making your sandwich in an Italian deli, hate that.
But that's the thing about like an Italian sandwich. It doesn't need much.
Yeah.
It doesn't need, like, you go to Jersey Mike's, it's like they're slicing it all up. They're gouging it with oil and vinegar, throw the mayo on, salt and pepper. I love Jersey Mike's of all those. But Subway, when I first had a Subway in Pittsburgh, I was like, this is the greatest sandwich I've ever had in my life.
God.
And then, I don't know, for some reason, it's just not as...
Did you have Blimpie in your...
I had Blimpie, and I had...
Blimpie, I remember it was in the mall.
I had a double dose one time. I had a bad Sandy, and upstairs and downstairs, it was a yard sale.
You got Blimpied.
I got Blimpied.
Oh,
I got Blimpied.
You Blumpied.
I got Blimpied.
My Blimpie went Blumpy. Oh, yeah, we had Blimpies in the Staten Island Mall, and I remember they had the shredded lettuce that I couldn't get enough of. I was always like extra lettuce. And I would just have basically a shredded lettuce on top of my sandwich. It was so good because they had that oil and vinegar and it just sat in there so nice. Ooh, you can tell it's lunchtime.
Can I tell you something real quick?
Good.
So, Jiggy, I don't know if you heard this, but we're sitting here, and before the show starts, Joe goes, all right, listen, this episode... here's what I don't want you to do. I want you to talk about food. We talk about food too much, okay? So let's not talk about food. And I'm sitting here. You're like, the shredded lettuce, the oil vinegar, just sits. I'm like, we're talking about food, Joe.
I break my own rules.
You break rules.
How did we even get here? How did we even get to talking about our Blimpie sandwich? Because it's lunchtime and we're hungry.
It's lunchtime.
That's true.
That's why.
That's
all right, let's get into the questions.
Let's
get to why people come for help and then
dilemmas.
Adana hit us up on
What's the name?
email. Adana?
Adana.
Yes.
Not Madonna.
I
not
think that's how you do
Adonis.
it.
What should I have for
EGANA.
lunch?
Talk to me about Blimpie. So the quote is, "Be stronger than your excuse." What's one excuse that you have overcome to achieve your goals? Pretty good question.
Wait, can you just say that one more time? What's one excuse?
Yeah, so there's a quote.
The quote is, be stronger than your excuse.
Be stronger than your excuse, which I think is a saying. And what's one excuse that you have had to overcome to achieve your goals?
That's very deep.
Yeah.
I will say, so one excuse you always, I used to always blame work, right? It's like, well, I'm out here working, when I was away and whatever. So I would say probably I had to overcome that to actually become a better partner and father for sure. I think that was a big one. I always use that as an excuse. I'm trying to think of things I use as excuses. I keep myself pretty accountable for the most part, especially nowadays. But back then, even so, I think I was. I just think I was misguided. But I think an excuse for a lot of people, one that comes up for a lot of people, is that I got to do what I got to do to put food on the table. Like, especially as a dad,
Right,
right?
yeah.
You know, that thing, it's like I'm out here, making money or, providing. I think that's probably one of the biggest excuses that you hear from fatherhood or whatever. So I think that was probably one for me. That was like, oh, I'm busy working. It
Sure.
made me ignore stuff that should have had my attention.
I would get a little more granular off of what you would say, but I try to, and you know this, I'm probably not the best at like getting back text wise, unless it's like happening in real time. If it's in real time, I'm right there. I'm like, yeah, boom, boom, do it, okay? But then the minute I sit down or I'm with my kids and I'm playing baseball or I'm out taking a walk with my wife, whatever, I just check out. I check out. So I'm trying to not make an excuse of like not getting back to, somebody's reaching out. They're communicating with you and I'm not communicating back with them. And there's an annoyance in that because I don't like when it happens to me, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing I've been trying to nip in the butt recently and not make an excuse for that, but like be more present with that and not let, like even today, I had 39 text messages I didn't get back to. So in the cab ride over here that took 45 minutes because I was downtown and it was $70 in an Uber. I'm not here to complain. I just went through and just was like, I want to get back to everybody. I want to set aside the time and make sure I do that.
That's
so
good.
that's an excuse I'm trying to walk away from.
I will say
not put an email. Gotcha.
Gotcha. I will say the not getting in shape has been an excuse that I've been battling with too, like of dropping the pounds. Like I've always wanted to get a little bit, not in shape by any means of meaning muscular. I just mean not a big fat guy that gets out of breath going up steps. So for a while, my excuse was like, oh, I'll do it after this or after. Like you always have the time.
yeah.
So the excuse wasn't necessarily an excuse. It was like a timeline you put yourself on, which becomes an excuse. It's like, oh yeah, I said I'm going to start that, in June or whatever, So I eventually started being like, okay, stop. You got to start. Like start somewhere.
Right. But the hardest, because we're of a certain age, I think we were guys that probably in our 20s and 30s never worked out. I ate whatever I wanted. I didn't care. I was like, I never had to do a push-up. It was just like everything was fine. And then you hit a certain age, it's like, it's not just getting in shape. It's like you have to change the lifestyle. You've got to be like, all right, I've got to eat healthier.
Are you one of the people that you are, if you surround yourself with people, you take on their behaviors? Or are you one that helps define the behaviors of others around you? Because I feel like when you're on tour with me, you eat a little worse, and you drink a little less.
Well, yeah, there's probably truth to that. I eat. It's like I'm breaking even then.
Yeah, I think so. I think you should probably stay away from me.
No, but that's one of the reasons I love going on tour with you and Jiggy, especially. I love being out with you guys. The camaraderie is great. The hang is always fun.
For sure.
The road trips are a blast.
Oh, great.
Just traveling with you guys, and then again, like boarding a plane is an adventure with Joe Gatto. It's never not dull because you're watching the reactions of people going, "Oh, that's Joe Gatto. Oh, he's doing a bit. Oh my God, this is crazy. Look at it, he's doing the thing." Like that's always fun. But I do drink less, but I've also been drinking less lately. I think the last.
But do you what made me think of that was when you said like the workout. Are you a guy that needs like a workout buddy, or are you?
No. That is something I do. I've been pretty regimented at, especially the last few months. And again,
because we have a laugh because I'll just talk to you on the phone and I'll be like, hey, what's up? You're like, oh my God, I ate I'm at my fourth. What's the place you like? Peterson's? What's the place that you go to with the P all the time? Pignoli's? What's the place? Parpadel's? The place they eat all the time.
Pittsburgh with the sandwich with the
Permane
fries.
Permane Brothers. He's like, I went to Permane Brothers 17 times today. And then I'll go to your Instagram story and you're like hitting the and you're jumping rope at 3 a.m. I'm like, yeah. You just ate 9 Permane Brothers.
Because that's why. That's why, to break even again.
That's
it's
right.
so awful.
So you're living your life to break even. That's right, yeah.
I could just be healthy.
Yeah.
But I can't. It's so, like even here in New York City, it's like, well, I'm not going to not have pizza tonight.
Of course, yeah.
Of course I'm going to have pizza. I'm not going to not have a fresh bagel from a bodega and have a great sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Of course I have to.
Gotta have it thinly sliced. Stop talking about food.
Sorry. But to your point, I think I'm somebody who, I think you're very much a leader. I think in any group you're pretty dominant in terms of your personality, and that's why it's easy to go out with you. For example, like on tour, because it's like, oh, we're gonna go here for lunch. It's like, great, awesome. When it's me by myself, I kind of meander, I make a thing of it. But But when always a group of friends, I think there's like a little bit a give and take of like, I could have a personality trait that might be receptive or a word or a phrase you say that your friends pick up on. But then I'm a sponge too,
Blurf.
Blurf is one of the
words.
greatest words I've ever heard in my life. And I used it on stage the other day. I was like, look at me. I was like in Mississippi.
Yeah.
It was like 100 people, and I told a monologue joke that was new, and it got like a middling laugh. And it's riddled with bomb lines, and I'm like, "Look at me! I'm dressed in a suit. I should be doing blow at a steakhouse, but I'm entertaining you blurfs." And they all get it. They all
Blurf. It's a picture.
The greatest
word. Yeah.
But do you consider yourself more? Because I think you're more of a dominant personality than somebody who is receiving and mirroring.
Yeah. I think I take that role, but I will say I've lived a life of collaboration.
Sure.
More than I think, especially in our industry, but more than most. But it's always been collaborative. So I think there are certain things that simulate, but like I would never like go to work out by myself. I would never be like, okay, I'm going to go work out.
Right.
But like when I lived with Murray for a minute, we were working out together because we had a gym in the place. My brother-in-law Vinny, he lived down the street from me, so he took me for like 3 weeks. And we started working out and stuff. So for like some of those things, I think when it comes to bettering myself, I feel like it's better to have a partner. I write like scripts better if I'm writing with somebody.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of a fun thing. So I think there's certain things, but I'm not afraid to try to bring out a different personality in people or make them better or try to like get people to like do something fun or out of their comfort zone.
But that's like goes to the heart of the question of like, you could say, oh, so there's an excuse in reality, right?
Yep.
The excuse is, well, to work out, I probably need somebody. The reality is, well, I'm probably not going to work out.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, is that wrong to make an excuse, or is it better to just accept the reality of the situation? The reality is just like, my reality is I will jump rope for 30 minutes a day by myself. But the excuse is, I'm going to have a pizza by myself. Right. And if I'm going to have pizza, well, I'll probably have a Coca-Cola.
You got to have a Coca-Cola.
If I have a Coca-Cola, I'll probably get cherry Coke. And
you need a couple.
One's not enough. I'll probably get two.
You have some, might have to have some jalapeno poppers up in you. I don't know. I think excuses it's hard excuses because they're self-imposed.
Right.
But the only person that can get rid of them is really you. And to do that.
To acknowledge it.
Yeah, to acknowledge
is
the
important
stuff. I mean,
part.
an excuse comes from you.
Right.
It's your brain saying this is why not.
But excuses ultimately, and I've told my kids this before, when they lie to me, I'm like, you're not lying to me. You know that. You are, but you're really lying to yourself. You're putting yourself in a situation where you're lying to yourself about this situation.
It's very profound.
So that is almost an excuse within itself.
And also inexcusable.
Now we're in a van going off a bridge like Inception. Which is reality? I don't know where we are. Yeah. Okay. But
all right, that was good.
That was a great question.
That was
great question.
Thank you, Adana. Adana?
Adana.
Great question.
This one's a fun one. Kind of on theme for today. What was your go-to from getting something from the ice cream truck as a kid?
Oh, what a great! That's
and
I
this
instantly
is from Susan. She said that her favorite was Pac-Man or Blue Ghost with a bubble gum eyeball, which is a great detail.
Yeah,
If I didn't have enough money, I would get a piece of Bazooka Joe. So that's from Susan on Instagram. I think that's a fun one.
I instantly think of the Freehold. There was like a public pool. My grandfather lived in an apartment complex, and we go swim there all the time. My folks would drop us off there because they had to work. And so when the ice cream man came, that Pac-Man was like the filet mignon on the menu.
You had to get it, though, because they sold out of them.
Jumbo Jetstar.
Classic.
Jumbo Jetstar. Classic.
Sucking on a Jumbo Jetstar.
Yeah. And by the way, it's kind of I'm looking back. It's kind of like a girthy pop.
Yeah, girthy pop.
It's not exactly like
it's a girthy pop to handle for a young boy. It's a girthy pop to handle for a young boy. Yeah, definitely.
This is the Kevin Spacey alert here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the ice cream driver was like, "What do you want, boy?" Yeah, it's on the house.
Jumbo Jetstar was mine. How about you guys?
Buffalo Bill.
What is that?
Buffalo Bill was basically a Pac-Man kind of deal. It was a cowboy hat with a bubblegum nose. It was a cowboy. It was just his head. He had a bubblegum nose and he had two chocolate chip eyes. Yeah, that was Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill.
Like
How about
Buffalo
you, Jiggy?
Bill. Buffalo Bill.
I always love the Choco Taco.
Oh,
man.
man.
Yeah, that's another good one.
That's so
a
much
great
fun.
one.
People went nuts when that thing got discontinued. Remember that was
I know.
Yeah.
When you'd open up the silver Choco Taco and like the steam would come out of the bag. Well, that's everything with the ice cream truck.
ice cream
It's like
truck is the best.
9,000 degrees and
Yep.
like the ice cream steam is
Yeah.
coming
Oh,
off of
yeah.
it.
I moved away. I'm
It's not steam, but you get it.
You get it.
I'm doing my Jiggy.
I did the. I go with. I don't really like ice cream, which is weird because
Really?
I'm not an ice cream guy. But if I have to and I get forced into a corner, I'm straight up like a vanilla soft serve with rainbow sprinkies.
Oh, dude. Carvel.
Yeah,
Carvel is
ice
the
cream.
greatest soft serve.
Carvel ice cream. But forget about it, Vel. I had fond memories at the Vel. We had a local Vel. Did you have the local ones? Like you used to go to your dad would take you to Carvel?
When I lived in Manalapan, my father would get us in the pickup.
Yeah.
And that was like
Did
on
you eat,
Sundays.
Did you eat it in the pickup in the back?
We'd stay because
Stay there.
I don't want to get my sprinkles all over his
100%.
shitty pickup.
Yeah.
So we would eat in the parking lot.
Yeah. My dad used to lay on the car and eat the what do you call it? Eat the
Oh,
thing.
the cookie puss?
Yeah,
The saucers?
the
Flying
flying
saucers?
saucers used to get. Yeah, Fudgy the Whale was the go-to. But that's why I don't like ice cream because my mother, my birthday's in June, and she used to force ice cream cakes on me because it would just be like
The Carvel
easiest.
ice cream cake is the greatest.
It was only.
if
It was
you
also
are
like
to get a birthday
$1.99.
cake.
Yeah, I hate it.
Really?
I hate it.
To this
I can't
day?
look at Fudgy the Whale. I can't
wait, to
look at
this
a cookie
day, right
puss.
now?
No. If I look at a cookie puss, not for me. Not for me.
Your puss looks at the cookie puss.
And that's like, it gives me a puss. My smile turns into a puss when I see a cookie puss.
Oh, come on, man. The greatest. What's the greatest birthday cake ever then? To me, it's Carvel. Hands
Really?
down. You put candles. I go to Publix in Nashville now.
yeah.
They sell them in the freezer section. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Carvel
I get 'em-
branded?
I get them when
You're
it's
getting
not
the
even my
puss.
birthday.
You're getting the puss at Publix.
I
You're
get it
getting that
whenever I
Publix
want. I'm a
puss?
grown man. I'm an adult. That's what I tell my wife. I'll eat it right now. It's not my birthday.
That's it. Right. It's not my birthday. I don't need a license.
I don't need a
I'm
license,
getting this
yeah.
Publix puss and I'm getting into it. You get on board or go out. Get out of my house.
Give me some puss on my birthday.
Your wife's talking to her girlfriends at the nail salon. She's like, oh, he's gonna want that puss for his birthday. I'm gonna have to get it for him. I'm like, all right, girlfriend. She's like, no, the cookie puss, the sandwich at Publix.
What is your birthday dessert then?
Well, I love a cake. Like I love to blow out the candles of the cake, but you can't beat a Dunkin' Hines with the chocolate frosting, just a standard.
By the
you know,
way,
make it.
yellow cake with
yellow
chocolate
cake, chocolate
frosting?
frosting. Yeah.
Give me that.
That's
I'm
the
in
birth.
heaven.
I feel like that's more the birthday cake than. Well, no, you're right. Those are probably the two leading birthday cakes.
Yeah.
It's like a Carvel ice cream cake, or you don't have ice cream cake not at a birthday party. And now that I'm thinking about this, you don't. You're right. You don't have. Nobody's like comes over to the house and brings an ice cream cake.
No.
because there's a lot of maintenance with it.
They do the cupcakes or they get like
Right.
the sheet cake. It's
Sheet
like,
cake?
get
No,
the
fuck out of here with your sheet
Yeah.
cake. Is that what you think of me?
Lazy.
I'm a sheet cake person because I don't go to a house empty-handed. You don't. That's a disgraciat. You have to show up with something. So I'm not going to show up with a sheet cake from Ralph's. Oh my God, the worst. Oh, that kind of person. I shut the door.
Just bring me a bag of sugar and
Yeah,
flour.
you know what? Why don't you take a shit in a bag and write chocolate and give it to me, and I'll rather eat that.
I'll tell you what,
salsa.
leave it on the street. The homeless won't even touch it.
I know.
That's how bad a
the
sheet cake is from
I
Ralph's.
seen a guy walking by going, "Ugh, stop it. Oh, shit. Throws it away.
He'll wipe
Terrible.
his ass with the
Oh,
sheet
my
cake.
God. The worst.
Sheet cake is disgusting. There's no flavor.
It even
It's
sounds terrible.
yeah.
What would you like for dessert? Give me a nice slice of sheet cake. Piece of sheet. You piece of sheet cake.
All right, well,
Sorry.
Summer dessert, I go Carvel. Carvel's but Jumbo Jetstar is the ice cream man.
From the
that's
ice cream
one.
man, you're deep throating a fucking jumbo jet
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I would bubble gum. But now that my kids go to it, we see all the new flavors. And my son, it's the same prototype, right? It's the Sonic the Hedgehog now. My son loves the Sonic the Hedgehog because it's the same thing. It's got the the eyes that you could eat that are gum and stuff. So
Joe, here's our Shark Tank pitch. Shark Tank.
Yes.
Here's our pitch. Ready?
pitch, okay.
Good humor. Jumbo Jetstar comes out a wooden stick. Let's make an edible stick. So you finish it
like drugs, like mushrooms.
but then you have like the stick itself is like a candy. You can eat that.
Yeah, they had that.
When?
They had that. They combined forces with the stick people. The stick candy sticks.
What? No, did they really?
Back in the day, I remember it vaguely, but it didn't catch on. That's why it's not a good deal. I don't
Because
think.
then it's just the balsa
But
wood
it
with
started
no flavor.
melted in your hand. It started making your hand pink. It was like those sugar sticks, those snappy
It
sticks.
could be like a pretzel. If you had like a flat pretzel stick
Dude, a flat pretzel with a chocolate on?
Oh, we're on to something. Call me Mark Cuban.
Trademark it.
Call me Mark
Call
Cuban.
Lori.
Lori Grenier.
Your friend's Lori. Tell her we got a pitch.
Let's call her and ask her.
Yeah.
Pretzel stick.
Are you really calling her?
Yeah, why not?
She's after 10 years on Shark Tank, right? 15 years, I think they just said.
I'll send her a text.
How many businesses is she a part of? Because I know you have the conglomerate.
So many.
And you have so many execs that handle.
that's
but how
clearly when
many
you're
are
good-
under her umbrella?
When you're good at it. I mean, when you're good at it, there's so many. But I don't want to call her. I'll send her a voice message.
But watching
Hey,
Shark Tank,
Lori, it's Joe. Quick question for you. I'm doing my podcast, Two Cool Moms, with my friend Steve Byrne here, and we think we came up with a genius idea, and I said I needed to call a profesh. So here it is. We were talking about ice creams, and we were talking about ice cream like on an edible
Like a good
stick.
humor.
Like a good humor, like, you used to get off the ice cream truck. What if that stick was edible?
Like a pretzel
Like
stick.
maybe like a pretzel stick. As I'm sending this, I realize it's a bad idea. Sorry to waste your time. I love you. I miss you. Bye.
I think a pretzel stick is a smart call.
I think it's
Like a chocolate pudding pop.
yeah.
Oh. You know what, though? But the edible, because you're going to be touching it, right? Then you have to eat it.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
what's
With a
going to
French
make
fry,
it melt
you
in your
eat- you
hand? Like,
touch
it's got to be M&M technology. Melts in your mouth, not in your hand.
Pretzels don't melt in your mouth.
Right?
Pretzels
You
don't
need
melt.
M&M technology.
You put it all together.
need
Dude,
to
we
go
got
on
to
the
go to
show.
Shark Tank. We got to go to Shark
It's not
Tank.
that easy, buddy.
We don't have any prototypes. We have no sales.
You walk in to show that. It's like, Steve Byrne has an idea of an edible stick.
Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun, dun.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Steve Byrne. I'm out. Damon, I didn't even. Thank you.
You wouldn't even get to the Byrne.
I wouldn't even get to it.
Hi, I'm Steve Byrne. Yeah, I'm out. You wouldn't even get to the urn.
Greatest show on television. I love Shark Tank.
Oh, man. Best.
I love the tank. All right, so we got a question here. This is from Jennifer. Hit us up on the Instagram. She says, any advice for dating a man with kids that has a less than delightful ex?
Oh, that's tough because you're part of that equation.
So it looks like she's got a dynamic she doesn't like with this ex. Sounds like he's snooping around.
So no, she's got the guy's got an ex-wife that he has kids with, and now she's the girlfriend. That's the dynamic, right?
Right.
Yes.
Well, the new lady is now you know right away, like all the tropes. You're not going to be their mother for the kids, but you're dealing with the problem is that you're dealing with the mom, the ex. So
Who is the real mom?
real mom. So I think the best way is to steer clear of anything when it comes to raising her children or any of that.
Because you'll never win.
You'll never win.
Yeah.
You'll never win.
It's that cake's already baked.
Yeah.
You can't go back. So you can be as supportive, you can be as wonderful to the kids, but I think everything's behind closed doors. Once it's out there, it's like, you're right, you're the mom.
Yeah.
You got it. You make the rules, whatever. But the minute they're on site with you, it's like, you can make your rules.
Take the kids out of the equation. Let's talk about the dynamic between you and the woman. This woman has no say in your relationship with her ex-husband,
Right.
or person. So that's going to be different. So there, you got to make sure you're assertive in that relationship. You can't be pussyfooting around that stuff because, hey, you had your shot with him. He didn't want it, and now I'm here. So listen, this is my man, and this is going to be our situation. You can't talk to me like that.
Exactly.
You can't talk to him like that about things like. So I think that's important to establish the relationship of you and the man. Is the relationship between you and the man. She has nothing to do with that.
And there's the pendulum swing, right?
Yep.
It's like, okay, I have nothing to say here because you always will be the mom, but I have everything to say here. So I think there's got to be, if you're at least mentally balanced and somewhat healthy, you should be able to meet in the middle.
Yeah.
But it sounds like that's not the perspective on the other end. No. But that's always what you're going to hear, 100%. Right? And I'm sure that she's going to think the same thing.
This puts our fella in a tricky situation here because he needs to make sure that he's towing the line in the right way here.
Yeah.
That's a situation for him as well. It's got to be like you got to make sure she's got to make sure that he's supporting her when she needs it.
But also look at that dog.
Oh
right?
man, Jay.
Had some on the side. Now he's on a new one.
Or he failed as a husband. He's divorced. Go get him,
horrible
pal.
father, horrible husband. Now he's going to wreck another woman's life.
That's it. Yeah, keep him. Pile him up. Pile him up.
Rack up those numbers.
Rack them up. Let's wreck it, Ralph. I think sometimes it doesn't work out. So it really is hard. I guess communication is always key, and we always say this. But really, communication is if you're like, hey, listen. this is what's happening here. How do I navigate this? I mean, it's got to be built together.
Yeah,
she can't be the one voice being like, I don't like that. That's not going to work.
The core dynamic is the relationship with her and
the man.
Her fella. Yeah, and they set the precedent from there forward. So it's got to be a healthy set of parameters, obviously.
Yeah. In the question, the tone of it sounds like she's getting guff from the woman, not about the kids. Like the kids aren't even mentioned. It's more like just, or they are, but it's more like. It's like, hey, how do I establish myself in this relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or causing stress to her boyfriend.
Yes.
If she's like just always nagging the boyfriend, even if she doesn't even talk to them.
Then guess who pays for that? She does, right? Because she ain't getting that dong because he's not in the mood because his ex-wife is running him. Oh, my God, the school thing, you didn't register them for the summer camp? And you think he's like, where? It's like, boner alert, deflating them on the left and the right. So that's not fair. She ain't getting the ding dong Donkey Kong. You know what I'm saying? She's just trying to fucking marry. She's just trying to get this a little bit, but she can't because there she is.
I just hear Joe.
She's like ding 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 ding. She goes to the bedroom like ding ding ding. Ding. No.
At the top is just a big old dong. Donkey dong.
Donkey dong. Donkey dong. She's trying to get the King Kong Donkey Dong.
Dong will always be funny.
It's the best word.
Oh dong, oh dong. When he says that in 16 Candles,
yes.
The donger. Oh God, one of my favorites. All right,
yeah. So I think we helped there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, get that dong, dong, da dong, dong, dong.
She got that dong, da dong, dong, dong. Woman Sam Sam, that dong, da dong. Moon Sam Beam, dong, da dong.
You would be a great cruise ship DJ.
Phenomenal. If my life's not over. That might be I might go on. I might go down that path once. I might do a cruise, hit that air horn like a mofo. I love an air horn. Air horn is my favorite sound. It's my favorite sound, better than children laughter. An air horn, I love it.
Those are great.
The DJ air horn. Those are that's my favorite thing. Nothing gets me juiced like that. Multiple DJs in multiple circles know that that's my sound. Yeah. And if they want to get me started, Cypher Sounds, DJ Reg West, The Kid, Justin Gerace, Lucci, all those guys know you hit that air horn, it's like putting a quarter in my back. And here he goes. I'm going. Fire me up with the furs and I'm going. Love it. Love it. What sound effect does that to you?
My top five?
Top five.
You have one of them.
What's that?
When you get hurt.
Good. You love that. You love that.
Always, because we'll see somebody trip on a sidewalk, Jiggy will stub his toe, and just, you're always right there.
Yeah, you love that sound effect. Love it. Love that. Then you're right. You're right. I provide that for you. Yeah.
I got time for one more. So this one is from Chuck on the Instagram. He has a son who's 4, who's all gas, no brakes. He's very sweet and loving, but also loves to be rough. Definitely a Sour Patch Kid. Since you both have sons, what advice would you mommies have in helping him calm down, but also allowing him to be a boy?
Wow. That's a great way to put it. All gas and no brakes. I never heard that before.
I unfortunately don't have much to offer here because my son is not that. I only have one son. I wasn't that type of kid, so I don't really have a dog in this fight, if you will. I would say hurt him once lightly.
Excuse me?
I would just say hurt him once lightly. And then he'll know not to, fuck around and find out. Like,
give him a good flick.
Just a nice little, leg sweep. I don't know. No, my son is like the opposite of that, so I don't know. How is yours? Is he?
Kent's, I think, middle ground, but I think, I remember this bit. Again, I don't know why I keep bringing up Billy Gardell, but he had this great bit about being a kid and like kids these days wearing helmets and everything. He's like, when we were a kid, you just ride your bike and you go off in the woods and you hit this fast bend. If you fell down, okay, slow down.
Yeah.
And that was it. So I think that, a personality trait is a personality trait, right? Some kids are a little more passive. Some kids are a little more energetic. I don't think you can rein that in. I think the kid it's part of his personality. And I think that kid, if you're physically more active, you're going to learn your lessons a lot quicker than someone who is a little more kind of laid back, I guess.
Yeah.
But I would just say that that's part of it, right? Like you get a dog that's super energetic. It's like, all right, well, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
That's the dog.
Wear him out.
If it's a terrier,
a
terrier is going to be more energetic than, a bloodhound or whatever. So I just think that's part of him. Enjoy it, appreciate it, and, you'll always have somebody to throw a ball with,
Yeah,
for sure,
yeah, for sure.
or once take a walk or something.
I think that you need to. I think what one part of it though is you need to help him manage that, right? As the dad, you're trying to, because if that's going to be part of his personality, you want it to be a part that he's able to take care of, like when he's like in school or whatnot, and calm down when he needs to, and whatnot. So at 4 though, like that's about when they're starting. I'm thinking back when my son was 4. That's when they're starting to realize they could run fast or do things like that. Like they could do stuff like that.
It's also part of that age. You're right. Yeah. I think around 4, my son was kind of pretty adventurous.
Yeah.
And I think, of course, that stuff's going to temper down because at 4, like to your point, you're learning to sprint, you're learning to run, and you're also learning how to fall. I mean, that's another thing. Like when you're playing ice hockey, you learn how to fall. You don't just learn how to skate. You don't learn how to slap. You learn how to, like basically self-protect yourself. You learn how to get up against the glass when somebody's checking you. So the glass takes a lot of the inertia. And I think with a child at that age, especially, you're going to learn when you stand on the table, you fall. You don't sit on the table anymore.
That's right. Yeah.
So I think enjoy the ride. But to your point, you got to know, hey, there are times to dial it down. There's times to dial it up.
I did. Do you have a lesson that you learned when you were younger, like you talk about, but like don't take that turn fast? Do you have a memory of like something?
Oh yeah, don't smart off to dad. I remember my dad cracked me a fresh one in front of my friends, and it spun me around like a Jackie Chan movie, and I fell down.
Wow!
And I was like,
you do your own stunts too, like Chan?
That day I had to. Yes, I was forced to. But my dad taught. Yeah, that was my lesson. Like, don't smart off in front of my friends.
Yeah, my dad, when I was getting my sassy mouth, my dad wasn't really a hitter ever. And I remember he just hit me once and didn't even look up from his plate. When we sat at the dinner table, I was on his left and he just was at the head of the table. And we were eating something. And I was being, funny and quirky. And I said something. My mom said something. I was like, Mom, don't be such a bitch. And he didn't even look up. And he went, whap, it just hit me right in his stomach. I fell on the floor. And he said, you'll never call her that again. And he was right.
Right,
he didn't even look up.
Yeah, it's just like, it's part of being a dad. My dad was not abusive by any means at all, but he, when you needed to be, course corrected, he was there to.
Right. I don't think, I think the most adventurous thing, I remember in the house, we had we had a carpeted circular stairway, like a half circle.
Okay.
Like, so up top came down to like a landing, then it turned to a landing and came down, right? And then I remember like I was running up the stairs with a blanket and I slipped like on the blanket because it was between the carpet. I was like, oh, that's slippery. And I was like, oh, that's slippery. That could be fun to use as a sled down this.
Right.
And I just wrapped myself up in the blanket like a mummy. And
I just slid down?
And I bounced off both walls. I was like, ow, ow. And in my mind, it was going to be more fun. And my father thought I came and fell down the steps. And he comes running in and he's like, oh, and he sees me. I'm wrapped in a blanket like a burrito. And I'm like, ow. And he just looks at me and goes, what are you doing, you asshole? I remember it was so like, it went from like panic, like, oh, my son fell, he's hurt, to like, what is this mummy
moron.
burrito? Like, I know you moron.
Yeah.
Like, how do you think that was going to pan out in your head, So I think part of it is self-discovery.
My father got me a go-kart, and I think it was 7.
Wow.
I was like, what are you thinking? By the way, this is not like a go-kart.
Gas-powered, like, right?
Gas-powered. Yeah. It's just metal bars put together that somebody like welded together.
You're this far off the ground, right?
Literally.
Yeah.
And he got it for me at like 7 or 8. And I was like, wow, this is cool. And he puts me in. It's fucking fast. I'm sure like as an adult now, I'd look at it and be like, oh, it's probably 20, 25 miles. It's still fast for a fucking 8-year-old.
Yep.
So where we lived, there was this doctor's building, behind us in a big parking lot. So my dad puts me in and he just fucking hits the thing. He's like, all right, have at it. And I hit the gas and I gun it. And I go to a turn, and I hit the turn, and my brother was with me, who was probably 5 at the time. Bye-bye. Just hit the turn, and he fucking barrel rolled out of there.
Oh, my God.
And
he A-teamed it.
He A-teamed it pretty hard, and he was crying, and I was just like, oh, my God, that was my first lesson in speed. Of like,
but then your dad wasn't upset about that, but he was upset that when you sped away, we're like, "See you, bitch." That part he was upset about.
That was a lesson in like speed, but yeah, that was. I mean, my dad, I can't believe, to this day, I still can't believe he got me a go-kart that was that fast.
Stuff,
but yeah, it was.
I do all this stuff too. Like my daughter just went to a play date, and her nanny sends a video, and Remo, they both went, and she sends a video, and they had a full-blown zip line. And here comes my daughter on the 20, 15 feet off the ground, like, hey, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, that's so much. I was like, oh, that's so my daughter to jump on this. And then she sends a second video. It's my son who is not, it's out of character for him. And he literally goes by, she's like, watch. And he's just going, stop me. He's just going by her. And he has speed because he's a little big boy now, right? And he starts having speed. And he's like, zzz, and he hits the spring and he just comes back and the video ends with him going, you missed me. It's so funny. Yeah, I guess they find that stuff out,
It's weird. Your daughter-son dynamic is somewhat similar to mine. My son might be a little more adventurous, but like, we're planning to go to like Universal next week, and he's like, I'm not going on any fast rides. And he establishes it out of the gates, and like, we know it's like, all right, he's going to sit out, or we'll have to do something else. But he does not like speed at all.
Oh wow,
he's his aversion to it. I don't know.
So he's all gas, no farts.
Dong, da, dong, dong, dong.
And that's all you got today. Thank you so much for listening to Two Cool Moms. This was a great app. What do you think, Jiggy? We done? We good?
Yeah, we wrapped it up.
We wrapped it up, man. That was great.
Dude,
Deleting.
that is such a specific. That's so great.
I love that. 10-10 wins. Thank you for listening, watching. Subscribe, like, share, all the good stuff.
The email is twocoolmomspod@gmail.com. So again, you have a video, you want to send us the video question, we'll make you part of it. Thank you guys so much for having us back and listening to us. We're so excited to be back out here. And obviously, Joe's going to be on the road.
I'm on the road. Yeah, come check us out. You're on the road.
Yeah.
JoeGattoOfficial.com and
Punch Up Live, Steve Byrne. Just punch up Steve Byrne.
Really Steve's great at is the marketing of how to find him. If you want to see him,
find me on Misconnections at Craigslist at around 3 a.m.
Just type Steve into Google and you'll find him, guys. Yeah, so come on out. The tour I have, Jiggy will be with me on this tour. I'm very excited.
You're doing all new material.
All new material. Yeah, this is it. My brand new hour. I'm super excited. Let's get into it. Is the tour, and so that's it. Yeah,
that's it.
All right, we'll see you on the next one.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. These mommies love you, so show us some love.
Please rate us and review us, follow us on all social media, and subscribe to our YouTube.